So I've been preparing for this presentation for the last 2.5 years, shortly. Somehow, you'll see why. In generally, around 3.5 years ago, we started our. Before that, I bought my first caravan and started renting the caravan, and then we launched the digital marketplace. And currently, we connect 200 people, 200 owners of caravans, tiny houses with end clients. But we regularly ask them, what's your challenges, what's your questions, and so on. And after the first season, they said, actually, we don't want to do this. We prefer someone else to do the handling, the management, and so on. We prefer to have a passive investment with lower return on investment. That's why 2 years ago, we started developing how we can make the investment in glampings more sustainable, more manageable, and to save time of these people using the whole and disrupting somehow the whole market. In general, as you already know, more than 70% of all accommodations are based in the cities, based on the most popular places, which is raising a lot of concerns due to the high prices of the renting and so on. And the other point of view is that travelers are looking for more and more sustainable options around the market, but only between 5 and 7% of the market can answer to this demand. On the other hand, the OTAs, as you're well aware, are generating almost 200 billion, and it may be fine up to now, but in the next couple of years it will be more challenging because they don't add a lot of value, just connecting one or the other side. Why now? On the one hand, as I mentioned, the OTAs need to change, and maybe they will be replaced with companies or models which are giving much more value. And also, the Europe nature-based market is growing rapidly. The glamping and all type of accommodation around the nature is growing really fast in US and in Europe as well. It will reach almost 32 billion in 2031. On the other hand, after the rising inflation after COVID, people who are investing in different type of the retail investment is growing rapidly as well. So most of the people need to invest in something in order to keep their money and avoid just giving it away due to the high inflation rate and so on. So people who are looking for such investments are growing rapidly. In generally, this nature-based vacations and locations around the world is growing rapidly in the next couple of years. There are around 15 companies around the world who are doing something like this. Only 2 of them are focused in Europe. In the worldwide, the most successful ones are Habitas. They already raised 450 million to make their spaces, and they have 12 spaces. They don't have hundreds of spaces. And in general, only 2 of the companies are addressing Europe, Rouse, and there's one more, Unyoked, which is not here. And some of these are entering, but they're focused on Western Europe, almost nothing addressing Central and Eastern Europe for now as a network. I've made my research, not only because I know what people are looking for in Bulgaria, but I've visited more than 35-40 campings in different countries in Europe, in Asia, just checking what works and how it works in order to implement it in the places where we want to develop. So our goal is to create new type of travel experience which combines investment, contribution, and profit from premium eco-glampings, which are actually giving much more value to the communities around them and involve with them in general. We simply call it multiplayer mode because currently the revenue is distributed into the owner of the booking and to the OTAs. Now we're saying actually the landowner, the architects, the community, and everyone involved in the whole process could benefit and could take some small % of the revenue. And we can make it work, we can involve these people, and it can make the whole process much more efficient and scalable as well. In general, combining luxury, wellness, sustainable ecotourism, and remote work in these locations. There's a lot of players on the market. Hotels, on the one hand, they offer a lot of consistency. especially the chains. You're going the same hotel, different locations, and you know what to expect. On the other hand, Airbnb are more unique. The caravans as well, they have much more unique value proposition, but you don't know what's your next choice. It's the matter of luck, and it could be not that good as the last one. So our concept here is to address uniqueness and consistency and build a global brand around these places. Unique places around the nature, but also consistency in terms of service, digital service, location service, and to know what to expect in general. We have two main directions. On the first direction, we offer the whole ecosystem as digital management for these type of companies, and we already have the first client. On the other hand, we are developing these places by our own. We already have the team to develop such places. I will tell you a bit more about the product line a bit later. What we achieved already and why it took us so many years. As I said, we started 3.5 years ago. We currently working with 200 members, 200 owners, and we generate around 500,000 in GMV in total. So we learn what people are looking for, what is missing, what are the prices, and so on. And on the other hand, this year we launched the management of Nextribe, and we already have our first paying client. It's a glamping with 24 bungalows and villas in Bali Island, and we already signed agreement, so they will manage them digitally, and we provide them the whole service they need in terms of marketing, booking, later on loyalty and so on. And the difference here is that in our agreement they will own their data, so they will be able to use the whole data to go through their website. In terms of products, we see potential for 3 lines of places. The first one are Nextribe.lite, which are more easy one, the glamping spaces. The second one are Deluxe. In Deluxe we add bungalows and co-working spaces, because that's one of the niche which is currently missing in most of the market, glamping plus co-working space, because it can make the spaces much more usable for companies, for remote work, and to fill this place in the lower season. And the third thing which there's a lot of demand is second home, so people buying bungalow or tiny house which is placed inside a specific camping, so people can own it, co-own it, or something like this. And our main product actually is the investment platform. So people can choose whether they want to have the free nights on a yearly basis or if they want to have the profit. And they could be somewhere in between. That's why we made the slider in order to give them the visual representation of this. We have 3 main elements here. People who invest actually can access our network, not only the location they invest in. They can easily invest in small piece of the campings, and also we have a transparent revenue system which could be inspired by Camino, and we can switch the all fiat money into stablecoins and then distribute everything much more clearly into all stakeholders. In order to make the whole system efficient enough and competitive enough, we will need to implement different technologies before, during, and after booking. These are some of the technologies. As I mentioned, the distribution model and the transparency there is quite important. Also, we need to integrate smart pricing, which will be, we're already testing some solutions and probably will integrate something at the beginning. The whole service and concierge service is something which is already important, and that's one of the main reasons why people book through our platform now. So we also want to integrate such solution. And in terms of long-time value, we need to integrate analysis of the behavior in order to provide these people crafted experience based on what they really need and what they really actually looking for. Our business model have 3 main elements. The first one is the commission, between 8 and 20%. The first the first complex you will manage will be at 8%. And if you make the whole management, it will be around 20%. Also, we will have a fundraising fee, because at the beginning we will fundraise for our campings, but on later stage we will fundraise for projects around us in different countries. And later on we will introduce a subscription model, because we see more potential in subscription than in classical loyalty program for various reasons. The main goal is to make 18 campings in the next 5 years and to have 33 branded locations. The projection for the revenue is around 30 million GMV and 76 combined for the 5 years. We already have the first two projects. The first one is Nextribe.vc. It's 100% funded. The second one is Deluxe with bungalows. It's 50% funded. They're all in Bulgaria. And currently we are looking for potential land plots in Italy. I see a lot of potential around Gran Turismo, combination between, not Gran Turismo, Agriturismo, combination between Agriturismo and glamping, but I can tell you more a bit later about this. And very simple comparison about the traditional travel and how much it costs, and about the alternative we provide with our investment program. If the nights are, let's say, 200 per night and people are going for vacation for 2 weeks, it costs them almost 3,000 per year and 15,000 for 5 years. Very simply. Only the accommodation. Here we don't include anything else. On the alternative, if people invest 50K in one of our projects, they will receive around 2 nights per year free nights. And so they don't have cost for this. On the other hand, they will have some type of return on investment between 5 and 8. It depends by the project and the ratio they choose. And also they will have some type of asset appreciation. It really depends. We put it quite passively at 4%. So at the end of the day, in 5 years, they will still have the 50K, which could be withdrawn also, but they will have a significant profit, and that's the difference with the current model. We gather the team we need. I can tell you more in the details. We have from technical perspective, from community management, from legal. This is always one of the challenges from different perspective. And we have a lead for the Italy chapter as well. The roadmap, we are launching the first project next month. The first managed by us project. Also we'll make the first iteration of the affiliate, which is quite important for us in order to decentralize the whole marketing funnel. We will make the first version of the conversation booking, probably through the Camino network. Revenue distribution will be next year. The community engagement is next year at the first part. And then we see potential to integrate all spaces with IoT and automate part of the property management. There are such use cases in US and we see potential here. And then we want to iterate with the Morpheus protocol and to use it for subscription instead of loyalty because we see much more value in it. And we want to launch a token, but probably it will be on a later stage when we prove the main elements and we know what exactly we're doing. We are raising 300K now, 70 already secured from our community, angel investors mainly, and it will be enough for the next probably between 18 and 24 months. Very shortly, you can look at Nextribe as your tribe because basically if you want to make it work, we need to build a real ecosystem of people who want to develop such places around the world and to give them whatever they need in terms of know-how, a system and the whole infrastructure. So you can scan the link to our brand new Telegram channel and you receive some updates from different locations in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nico.
Thank you.
Any question from you guys? Oops.
Maybe
the judges?
Another space that's close and dear to my heart because I love glamping. I actually went to the first, and this may be helpful for you, but I went to the first pilot launch for Airstream, the one that you says Airstream. Autocamp. So just so you know, they expanded their offerings, so it's not just Airstreams anymore. They have like tiny homes and cabins and all that as well. But in any case, I'm trying to better understand, are you a property management service? Are you a marketplace? Are you a fraction ownership platform? What's the focus? Are you a developer? Like, because I saw all those, and I'm not sure exactly what is the core like solution. What's the core focus?
We want to build something like a franchise model and to onboard such places, but the difference with the hotels here is that we need to build it. So in order to make it work and to build the credibility, the first locations will be developed by us. So we will have the land, we have the properties, we will develop everything, and we will manage it as well.
Why not go to a property that's being developed right now in Bali somewhere and partner with them and say, hey, we can help you guys with fractional ownership, and you don't have to develop your own property.
We already have this client in Bali.
Right. So then that's why I don't understand why do you need to develop yourself?
Because in Bali they have such places. In different locations in US they have such places. But in Europe we need to build it. And the only option to use the current infrastructure, for example, is if you make it into agritourism and we add glamping. But there are not enough places. I mean, there are a lot of campings, but most of them are a bit more, they're big, they're old-fashioned, they're addressing different niche. We are a bit more...
Okay. So are you in a way saying that in Europe, the addressable market is not big enough, so you're going to build your own market for your fractional ownership, for your like marketplace platform? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, why do you need to develop your own glamping? Like, why do you need to build your own hardware, for example, for your software, right? Like, I'm trying to understand why do you need to, because that's a high cost approach, right?
Yeah, at the beginning we will build it by ourselves, but also there's interest for people who want to build it in order to give it to us to manage it later. So the short answer is that there's not enough.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like, why Europe? Like, why not go to, let's say, Thailand, right? You got a lot of developers developing for glamping, vacation ownership type that doesn't have fractional ownership capability, and if you just have this, I'm just trying to understand, like, but we can probably talk a little bit more about that later.
Yeah, very shortly. The competition for fractional ownership is one, but the competition for this market in general is different. I mean, in Europe, there is not enough supply. Not Europe, let's say Central Eastern Europe, there is not enough supply. And for the fractional ownership, yeah, the whole world is somehow addressable market.
Nico, where do you have the 10x better, faster, cheaper in your concept, and how exactly does blockchain help you?
Okay. For the first answer, the first question, the answer is that after we validate the first places and we make it work, there's a lot of interest for different people to make it the same. I'm using our blueprint, using the concept, the infrastructure, the booking, and they will have everything. So we will be able to onboard, let's say, 20 new places for 1 year, or to build it for 20 new for 1 year, because we don't need to own it by ourselves.
Now, many people are trying to do the same.
Yeah, I guess so.
So why 10x better, faster, cheaper?
Well, I guess the whole combination of the first the transparent revenue, on the other hand the combination between B2C and B2B, and to utilize this type of space, and why it will be cheaper. It won't be cheaper at the beginning, and on the other hand, the more places we build, the bigger the added value becomes for the owner. So they access directly the whole pool of clients, and they can somehow directly receive clients also.
Okay.
And
gotcha. And the blockchain element here is like crypto investment instead of fiat investment.
yeah, at the beginning it will be connected to the revenue distribution, because it can help us to distribute revenue more clearly, more transparently, more frequently, which will inspire the community that we are transparent and they can trust us. Later on, we are still open to tokenize some of the places, or to tokenize part of our equity, but it's just too difficult at the beginning, and yeah, it won't be feasible. It's too expensive to make it at the beginning. And on a later stage, definitely we see opportunity to integrate a loyalty and to use some of the solutions here and to reward these people with the community with rewards in different locations.
Okay.
So I'm already aligning what you're doing with my experiences in the States. I don't know if it's in Europe, but do you guys know timeshare?
Yeah.
Right, it's like a timeshare with a revenue distribution model.
The difference is that in the timeshare you don't have ownership. You just have the right to use something a couple of nights per year.
Some you have ownership, I think.
Okay,
like,
yeah. So it could be timeshare plus ownership because they have the capital appreciation.
I almost feel like the core thing here is the Web3 tech that you're using to do like a very optimized, automated revenue distribution management. I feel like that's the thing, but I need to learn more. But yeah, it's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, we are just a bit confused because if we don't have the supply, how should we handle it? But there is our option, to focus only on this. And that's why we have two directions, and on the long term, I guess it will be one. We cannot. It's not feasible to go in the same time in two different directions.
Do you know if there's anybody doing like using Web3 tech to do rev distribution for like timeshare or fractional ownership?
I don't think so. The similar concept is for Wonder in US. They just made a rate and they collect fundraising. They get 100 million from Credit Suisse to make a premium spaces. But I don't think that someone somehow use the Web3 yet for such places.
So, as I understand it, this market has more demand than supply in Europe, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so probably the supply will not even talk to you because, you know, I'm full, right? So you say, we're gonna build it and they're gonna basically prove the concept and actually I'm gonna even make money, or we're gonna make money because there's more demand than supply, right? And then when the demand and the supply balance, then you have the model, right? That's the thinking behind it. Okay, cool. Could you go back to the slide where you show the comparison between, one back.
Oops.
You got, you haven't, we've seen those ones? No, they're later, right?
Yeah, because this is for how the calculation looks for the glamping in Italy.
Okay, okay.
But we are not.
All right, let's go back to the one you are comparing the 5% or the expense. That one. Go back. Okay. So here you're saying instead of to the customer, right? Instead of spending 2,800 euro a year, spend 15,000 in 5 years. Spend them now, and you're gonna spend zero for traveling, etc., etc. But those 12,500, right, which I have in my bank, they're probably not sitting in my bank. They're probably paying some interest, which is about 5%, right? So basically, you're telling me, unless I have 12,500 sitting in the bank, you're telling me to renounce to the 5% interest. So it's basically zero. So there's no real difference apart from the asset appreciation.
Yeah, but also the concept here is that if you decide to don't use the 2 weeks, the return on investment will be higher. In this scenario, you have 2 weeks plus the 5%, plus the appreciation.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Good. Any other question? Thanks a lot, Nico.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You didn't want to ask, you asked me before, you want to make a round of questions?
I just have a short question. If we say that we are developing such place in Tuscany and you can own a fractional ownership of a small, let's say, bungalow or villa, and you can have, let's say, between 2 and 3 weeks per year, and you still have another 5, 6, or 7% on yearly basis, would you be open to invest between 15 and 50k euro in order to use this every year? This is the question. I know that you need much more financial information, much more details, but I can just give you a rough example of how the things will look like. Something like this. Yeah, we're talking about small place with around 10 bungalows, not a huge glamping. So you can just raise your hand and say, okay, that's interesting for me.
And say that I would be interested because when I was in Bali, for some reason they found out I was there. I was getting hit with all these Instagram, like,
Yeah.
you know, so you probably know that. And I actually went through and took a look at some of the perspectives on some of them, just to see.
Yeah, to take a look.
You know, like, oh, 18% ROI, blah, blah, blah. I thought that sounds good. But then I was like, oh, I really would, so I just put that into Bitcoin.
One question to
Yeah.
answer to your question.
Okay.
Do I have to invest when the glamping is already built or before the glamping is going to be built?
30% up front. And the rest when it's ready.
Okay.
Christina?
From a legal perspective, you are not selling a part of the bungalow. You
No.
are selling a subscription, something like that. It's a membership.
To be completely honest, currently we're selling stock of the company who own 100% of the glamping. So
So you are selling shares,
yeah,
but it's not. It's going to be really expensive for you. Is everybody need? I don't know how it's working in Sofia, but you need to go to the notary to buy these shares and to make a public deed.
Notary in Sofia is €8, isn't it?
something like this.
€8. You don't believe it, but it's €8 in Sofia for a
It's
notary.
€8.
Yes.
But I need to go to Sofia to invest.
No, I don't know.
Or
No,
can
no,
I?
we will have a partner with, it's called Seedblink, so people will be able to invest through their company in Austria, and it can be fully digital.
So I will receive a document saying that I have a share of the
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
Okay.
I do it if Luca joins.
Yeah.
Christina wants to buy. Did you smell it?
Now, me and Nicola is starting a startup to come to Sofia and pay notaries only €8.
We can have another trips meeting.
In Italy now, it's like €800. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thanks, Nicola.